and welcome back to another episode of The Real Podcast of Dallas. The Real Podcast of Dallas, the little podcast that could, the little podcast that did, the little podcast that is still on. We're still here. So how are you, Cindy?
Good. This is the 70th episode.
It is. It's our 70th episode. And it's also a year since we've been doing these podcasts.
I know. That's amazing.
Yes. So happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to us. Where's my gift?
Yes. It's coming. You're the Real Podcast of Dallas jacket will be coming soon. Yes, it's our a year. So happy birthday, Cindy. Happy birthday, Maria.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Leo,
the Real Podcast
Maria.
of Dallas. Yeah, a year. So how can they listen to the little podcast that could, Cindy?
Well, you can always Google the Real Podcast of Dallas, or you can go to Spotify or iHeartRadio, YouTube, Facebook. Do kids, well, I don't mean to say kids, but do people use Facebook a lot anymore?
They do, yes.
Because it's good for adults, too.
Yes. And we're going to get on Instagram. We're going to get on all these other
Awesome.
all these other platforms. It's coming. It's coming. 70 episodes, Cindy. Why should they listen to it, Cindy? Why should I listen to the Real Podcast of Dallas? Why should anyone listen to it?
Because it's free
Yes.
advice.
Yes.
Free advice.
Yes. With a money back guarantee.
That's right.
Free advice with a money back guarantee. You can't get that anywhere. I don't know what that means.
Exactly.
But we offer it. Whatever it is, we offer it. Yes, that's our selling point. Yes.
That's right. No harm, no foul.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. So this is
and we're entertaining.
Yes, it's fun
Free
advice. It's called edutainment. We edutain you. Yes.
That's right.
So this is the Real Podcast of Dallas. 1 year later, we're still here.
We're apart, but we're still here.
Yes, it's Maria and I talked about that on our last episodes, how unpredictable it just, for whatever reason, but we're still doing these, so this is good.
Yes.
So have you been, Cindy?
Oh, I'm stir crazy. I am just so ready for my holiday vacation. I'm just like the teachers and the kids. Just can't wait till Friday at 5 p.m.
Yes.
And I won't rub it in because I know that Friday at 5 p.m. means nothing to you.
No. No, again, I'm at a secret location, Area 51 and a half. And
I know.
One day,
fascinating.
One day I will talk about it. One day when I'm back, I'll talk about what I was doing, and it should be very interesting content.
Have you seen any aliens or UFOs?
I have. I cannot confirm or deny.
Okay.
How's that?
That sounds like you're an official. Yeah.
Yes. But we are
awesome.
We are separated, and fortunately, this is how you use media for positivity.
Right.
You bring it together by giving information that's valuable, information that saves you thousands of dollars in the future, just by listening to it now.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
It really is. I think we should charge for this podcast. I mean, we should charge $100,000 to listen to it for the last 70 episodes, and that'll save you even more because of inflation.
Exactly.
I'm trying to market this.
Shoot.
But it's free advice. And we have people listening.
Inflation is real. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll save you.
We have people listening from South Africa, Chile, Peru, Denmark, Paris. What do you think, Cindy? Isn't it great?
Yeah, the places that I would love to visit.
Yes. Can you imagine it? India? India is very... Hello, India. How are you?
Hello, India.
Yes. They listen faithfully.
Yeah.
So this platform has been great. What do you think, Cindy, after a year? And I know we had a little, this whole thing, where we were together and now we're separated. But the fact that we've been doing this podcast, what do you think of the podcast now a year later? Let's reflect a little bit.
Well, I think for me, it was a lot more fun when it was in person.
Yes.
And I could hear the music because we don't have the funding yet to have a, studios
right.
and all the sophisticated, machinery and equipment and whatnot
yes.
that you have to have the great sound and vocals. But I think the chemistry and the rapport are great. Conversations
right.
smooth. It's good content.
It's very
good content.
Yes. And you're right.
Yeah.
You can't hear the music. There is music behind it, but you can't hear it.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. But I can hear it, and I'm working on it on this side. I will figure it out. We will get it. But yeah, having a studio would be even better. Having a studio where we could go in and we've talked about we talk about this a lot. And I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, and maybe this is a good segue, is you have to dream it.
I believe in that, yes.
You have to dream it. Dream it, believe it. Speak
it.
Yes, speak it.
Write it.
Yeah. And why is that important? For those people listening.
There's power. There's energy. There's magnetic. I mean, something or someone is listening and holding you accountable. So be careful of your words, whether you say good things or bad.
Or bad things, yes. Because
you have to be. I've learned that. Be careful what you say.
Give me an example.
Oh gosh. Well, if you say, "I'll never make it. I'll never be able to be famous. I'll never be
right.
Able to be a podcaster." I mean, guess what? You won't.
Yes.
I'll never be able to do these things. Then you'll never be able to. But when you say, "I can and I will," most importantly, or act like you already are. If you want to be an author,
right?
Start calling yourself an author. Start writing. You're an author.
Yes.
You can self-publish on Amazon.
Yes.
I mean, write a book.
And
get published.
We've talked about this several times. When we were in the office together, we'd have these interesting conversations, and it was really about staying positive. It was really about staying positive.
That's so important,
especially around negative people, family members, coworkers, friends who can be very negative. And we've talked about this in past podcasts. And I think one of our themes is just being positive, having a better outlook about yourself and about situations.
Because I think our words and our thoughts really are self-fulfilling prophecies. I never used to think about that kind of stuff, but I do now.
Yes.
And it can be hard to change the channel when your thoughts are negative, and sometimes when you're sad, you want to stay sad, or when you're moody, you want to stay that way. But you gotta not dwell there. You gotta change the channel.
Right.
Step outside. Do something so that your mind resets.
Change the view.
Yeah.
And when you step outside, just simply by going outside, it changes the view.
Do jumping jacks. That changes the view.
Something that gets you in a different mindset. The mind is powerful. The mind is so powerful, and that's kind of what we're talking about. How you can be very, we had our last episode. Self-destruction, and you can be very self-destructive just with your thoughts, and that's one of the things that you and I have, and Anne Maria have always talked about, and I think personally in our lives, and it's very interesting now watching where we're at now, even though we're far apart, even though that things changed. If people could see what has happened personally in our lives, this is something that we've practiced ourselves, and we've been around negative people, and negative people have been very toxic in our lives, but we didn't let it get to us.
Yeah,
and I think those conversations that we've had in that we would have all these years, there in your desk. Really manifested a lot of this that we've been going through, which is really positive. It feels negative. I could easily dwell and say, well, when we were there, we had the, little makeshift studio and things were going really well, and now we're set. But we actually are still thinking of it in a positive way. We're still thinking of the future, especially of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was momentum.
Yeah. And I think it's important. We also did an episode on self-talk. How it's important to really pay attention how you talk to yourself. And that's what the podcast on self-talk is about. How to not destroy yourself with your words.
I've always told my daughter, be careful what you say, change the channel. If you start thinking negative thoughts, you have to, it takes a lot of effort to train your brain to recognize that, oh, you know what, I'm thinking dark again. I gotta think positive. And she knows sometimes she'll say something, negative. She's like, oh, I know, I shouldn't have said that. You'll tell me to change that. But she's a believer now. She's a believer now as well.
Yes.
Because she's seen, things happen for good when she speaks good.
Yes.
And that's powerful. And one of the things that we always say, Leo and I always say, is just don't just talk about your dreams.
Yes.
But just take action. Take a step. Take one small step towards that dream.
Yes.
And then another step. And then pretty soon that momentum does catch up. Something happens. Like there's some kind of energy out there.
Yes.
And things start to shift, and they fall into your favor. And it's great.
You have to take steps into that dream. You have to start making it happen. Remember when we first recorded our first episode?
Oh, I do.
Do you remember that?
Do.
And
I do.
From that first episode, which you really weren't very, I'm not going to say you weren't happy with it, but it wasn't one of our best, our personalities. We were just starting to come out.